So tomorrow. That's
Yeah.
when it's happening. It all ends tomorrow. It's all gone.
Yep, we're wrapping up the Breaking Bad universe completely. It's already been confirmed. Vince is not... They're not returning.
Which, as hard as it is to say goodbye to it, I'm happy that they are ending it at a point where they haven't just dragged out this universe to where there are no good ideas left.
Yeah.
And this story feels like... Better Call Saul as a story feels like it gave some context to Breaking Bad that felt like we needed but never knew we wanted.
Yeah, because just last night I was watching Better Call Saul from Breaking Bad, the episode.
Yeah.
And seeing Saul for the first time we ever saw him, watch that episode, I'm like, yeah, he's just some goofy comic relief character that they just threw in.
Well, it's the thing, it's just like, who would have thought? I remember when the series was announced that, Saul from Breaking Bad is getting a spinoff. I was like, that seems desperate. Yeah. Honestly, I didn't know how that could turn out. And then, the show started, and funny enough, it seemed like more of like a dark comedy than really a drama. But then now, as we're wrapping up this series, I think we've gotten some of the most just heartbreaking material in like the whole universe or that I've just ever seen on TV. I feel just emotionally distraught after what this last season has put me through.
Yeah, this last season's been like roller coaster of emotions.
It has. I think it was at episode 3 of this season. As soon as they killed Nacho off, I think that's when I just accepted there's no point in trying to speculate, which even though we're going to do that right now, speculate about what we think is going to happen in the last episode, because I thought, okay. And I like that it still fits the narrative. It doesn't feel like just shocking it for the sake of.
Yeah, but the season did start off slow.
Oh, yeah.
And it was, for a while I was like, where are we going? Because you have to wrap up a lot of stuff.
That's true. 5. And even before the season started, you and me had talked about, man, is 13 episodes enough to like wrap up this whole series? And then when they started out like as slow as it's like, do we have time for this?
Yeah, because Nacho's death was jarring.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like they did wrap that up pretty quick, a lot quicker than I thought.
Oh yeah, well the way that they ended season 5, and Nacho, he's been just one of the main characters throughout the whole series. I know, like Howard, he gets a lot of talk because of like his death, but I'd say Nacho probably has like more screen time than a character like Howard. And it was just so, obviously shocking just to see him go that quick, because that's what I thought most of this season was going to be about, was Lalo looking for Nacho, but they didn't even have a single scene together in season 6.
I thought he was going to live.
I thought so too.
Because he was kind of that Jesse character for
this
show.
Crazy enough, I think that, because that was who I always saw as like the parallels between, two shows and the two different characters. But I've been seeing a lot lately about how it's kind of Kim who is the Jesse character, in a way of she is the one who's most affected and been put through like this partnership with Saul in the same way that Jesse was with Walt.
Yeah, I could see that. With this latest episode, it's kind of on the nose now that the Kim and Jesse like parallels. So, but
other than that, I'll say as far as it comes to like the slow burn of the series, I've been watching like since it came out in 2015, and week to week, and I've kind of accepted that's just the way the show goes about telling its story. Is it takes its time and it likes to earn its plot points, which I really do enjoy.
It's just jarring when you're watching week to week. If it was binging, I think it wouldn't feel as slow initially to get things going and wrapping up.
Right.
But since it's week to week, it's kind of like, oh, where are we going?
Oh, yeah. This? Well, the thing with... I was starting to get a little impatient when we were getting the strand of episodes from, like, episodes 4 to 6, when basically the whole plot was Jimmy and Kim are messing with Howard, but we're not going to tell you what exactly they're doing until the mid-season finale.
Yeah.
I remember just thinking, like, what is happening on this show? It was all really enjoyable, and, those episodes gave, like, some of the actors, like, a chance to show their directing chops, like Giancarlo Esposito directed an episode and Rhea Seehorn, and which I guess, if you want to call those filler episodes, I guess that's good for just that kind of experimentation.
Yeah, but it's just, you look at season 5 of Breaking Bad, where, like, not a second is wasted. And it's, like, especially that second half of season 5 of Breaking Bad. So, like, in comparison, you'd think this season, it's like, okay, we gotta wrap up a lot of stuff, so we're gonna go at a fast pace, because we gotta move. Whereas this one, they've been very slow. So I was surprised by that.
Okay, I see. I mean, and I think that's just the kind of show that this is.
I know that is what this show is.
Because even, like, when you look at, like, Breaking Bad's first season, I mean, like you said, that was a show that it didn't waste a lot of time. Better Call Saul has always been about just the slower building to what's happening. Like, in Breaking Bad, when somebody dies, it's just something that happens. I feel like death is taken a lot more, like, I guess serious would be the right word for it. Just when it does happen, it is, I'd say in this show, even more jarring, because that's not, especially on the lawyer side of the show, the non-cartel and everything with that. But when it came to Howard's death, I did think it made that strand of episodes, like, pay off, definitely. Like, they earned that moment. Like, they had us empathizing with Howard and just basically feeling disgusted with everything that Jimmy and Kim were doing. And then just to see him get taken out like that, in a way, it puts a whole new context over just who Saul Goodman is in Breaking Bad.
Yeah, Plan and Execution, very much chicanery vibes.
Oh yeah, which I really like.
But
that.
Just even worse.
Another gaslight situation. And it was, and just to see how the two of them basically tore down just the legacy of his brother and somebody that, you know, maybe they didn't necessarily care a whole lot for, but this was somebody they knew who got shot right in their living room and then destroyed his image.
Yeah, and continued to lie, even at his funeral with his widow.
Yeah, it was a lot to take on it for the show that started out, like I said, just a dark comedy. Like, it was, I just felt disgusted.
But it is what I wanted.
Oh,
because I felt like Jimmy, for the most part, in this show, has not faced real consequences for what he's been doing. Yeah. And it's like Chuck said, if he keeps going down the path he's on, people are going to get hurt. Yeah. And they have. And that's, like, what I wanted this season to be. I wanted Jimmy to, like, finally face, like, the consequences of what he's doing. Because I don't think he gets that, like, these things do affect people.
Well, that, and obviously there's that sheep and wolf mentality that he always goes back to when it came to working at his father's store. And I think he's always seen, like, he doesn't sympathize with other people. He doesn't see somebody's sob story as an excuse to stop being a wolf. And I love that, you know, similar to Walter White, this season shows that there's just always something in Jimmy, like an addiction, that he always has to, like, get his fix. It's not, obviously he's changed as a character and cared even less for the well-being of others, but it's just a part of who he is, not somebody that he just became.
Yeah, I think honestly that is, like, what the theme of this show is. It's like, can a person change? I think that's kind of the aspect that they explore with this show, is because, I mean, Chuck believed that Jimmy could change, and I actually was reading somebody talk about, because I know we've talked about off camera, like, we talked about how Chuck was right, things that he said to Jimmy, but I actually saw somebody talk about how both were wrong in the situation, because Chuck, like, hates Jimmy, like, always did, out of, like, resentment, because he has charm, he makes people laugh, like, this is stuff Chuck has said in the show, like, and there was that scene where their mom was dying, and she says Jimmy, even though Chuck was there. So, like, you see that, like, Chuck isn't innocent either. Because in a way, they were basically saying he created Saul in a way, because he hated his brother and, like, resented what he could become, because he knew how much people liked him. And so, like, he felt that if Jimmy became, like, a real lawyer at, like, HHM, that maybe he would, like, get more attention than Chuck or surpass him in some way. So he held him down, and in a way that created Saul.
Yeah, I love how, in those earlier seasons we got... Because, I mean, we know how he ends up in Breaking Bad, but, like, you kind of get this sense through the earlier seasons of... Well, anytime he would try to do something right, there was always Chuck, his older brother, that he had his fair share of jealousy from, telling him he wasn't good enough, or that he had no right, which... And the fact that this show can make you just empathize with where Jimmy's coming from in the beginning of like, oh, well, this was bound to happen because of the way that Chuck treated him, and then still at the same time make us question everything he's doing and feel like, because sometimes I hate this guy when I'm watching the show.
I think we should focus on, has season 6 lived up to the expectations?
To my expectations? Well, I will say it absolutely hasn't been what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
I could
true.
say that. Like, I thought we were going to get more into, like, the more fast-paced Breaking Bad feeling type. Which, I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all by any means.
Yeah.
It's just what I was expecting, but kind of what we have gotten, or what it seems like it's leading up to. I mean, I guess we're going to see tomorrow in the finale, was just a little bit more of a quiet, somber ending to these characters, which it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, Breaking Bad was that fast-paced, high-octane, more of an action crime drama than Better Call Saul being more
Better Call Saul is a character study.
Mm-hmm.
I think first and foremost. And, like, Breaking Bad is a character study, too. They're both shows about people changing. Even though I just said, can't someone change? But I'm talking more slipping into who they really are, I guess. So it's not even exactly people changing. So it's they both explore two characters that kind of follow, like, a similar path. But...
Well, and I love what they've done with, like, I think Kim has been the most fascinating this season than she has, like, in the whole show. Just how it shows how they both have this slip in personality, like, within them, but Kim is going down a dark path right alongside Jimmy. But you see the difference between, like, what they have in them. Like, Kim is having fun. Saul is just getting his fill. That's just what he needs. Like, it's not like something that he wants to do. It's something he feels like he needs to do.
Yeah.
And just to see, like, where she dropped out of the game and moved away, and, like, she hadn't even seen, like, the half of it yet.
Yeah.
Everything that he ended up going through in Breaking Bad.
Oh, yeah.
And he still doesn't feel bad about it.
No. Want to talk about my 2 favorite episodes of this season, which are now among probably my favorite of the show, which is Fun and Game, or no, Plan and Execution and Fun and Games.
Oh, yeah.
I think are my 2 favorites.
Those are my 2 favorite. It might be, like, of the whole series. And that's the thing. I feel like we've gotten quite a few episodes this season where I could put quite a few, like, in a list of just my favorite of, like, the entire series, let alone, like, the whole Breaking Bad universe.
Yeah. No, but I really love Fun and Games. It might be my favorite of the season.
Of the show.
Maybe not of the show. I mean, I want to wait till this last episode so I can then look at the whole thing and, come to a conclusion of my favorites. But I just like that this is the ending to the Better Call Saul timeline.
Right. It worked as a series finale.
Yeah. All these other episodes we're getting are more epilogues and extra type stuff. Yeah,
I mean, for me, it's easy to say that it's all epilogue and extra. I mean, I guess we're going to have to see, like, where
I'm glad we're getting it. I'd be upset if we didn't get more, like, wrap up the Gene stuff mostly.
Absolutely.
That's what I wanted wrapped up, but... Yeah, I mean, just ending it with Kim breaking up with Saul, which was... I didn't think would be as upsetting as it was to watch. And
it was tough to watch. I remember, oh my gosh, I couldn't stay still when that scene was happening. I was saying, like... I was literally saying, this is too real. Like, just... You've watched... It's just a tragic love story. Like, you know from the beginning... Something isn't, because Kim is not in Breaking Bad, something's going to go wrong. Either is she going to die, or is she going to leave him? What's going on? And then the way it does happen just being with these characters and seeing them grow in their relationship for all these years, and then to see it was devastating.
Yeah, and I liked that Kim admitted that she just was having too much fun, like couldn't stop.
And
like,
that's something that Jimmy just can't do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and yeah, it was just emotional, like Saul saying that he loved her when we didn't really hear them say that.
That's the only time. I believe that's the only time Jimmy has ever said, "I love you" to Kim. I like how because he's got so many fucking names in this show. I'll be in conversation talking about him, and then one sentence I'll say Jimmy, and then in another sentence I'll say Saul. I'm talking about the same scene.
Well, I saw a video of somebody ranking all of Saul's aliases. Like, was it Jeffrey Steele or was that his
Victor with a K? I know is one.
Because the one where he was trying to tell Tuco he was a FBI agent.
Oh yes,
it was like Jeffrey Steele.
Yeah, Agent Steele.
Agent Steele. Yeah. So, but. Yeah, in Fun and Games is an episode where not really a lot happens, per se, other than, like, it's not like an intense episode necessarily.
Right.
It's just like a somber
We get endings
up
to a lot of plot points in that episode. I mean,
Yeah.
in a way, like, you know, you had mentioned to me the other day when I was saying, like, you know, I kind of hope we do get to see a little bit more with, like, Mike in this final episode, and you told me, you're like, well, it seems like we already got, like, somewhat of a proper conclusion to his, especially like his before Breaking Bad era, just, you know, going to see Nacho's father and explain to him what happened, and basically what Nacho's dad tells him is, you know, you're just as bad as the rest of them, which throughout both shows we've always known Mike to be somebody who he might accept that, but the way he goes about his business, he's got his code, which is more than I think a lot of the characters in this show can say, and that's not. It just does a great job of showing like the criminal underworld is not so black and white. Like these are real people that we're dealing with here. Yeah,
I really like the Gus scene. With the wine. I saw like a lot of people didn't. They said, "Oh, there's no point to the scene," or
"There's no point.
Gus is not gay." I saw a lot of people saying like they didn't understand why people were talking about he was gay. No, he was. There's definitely gay vibes in that scene.
It took me a little bit to catch on. At first, I thought, "Why are they showing Gus out on the town? Like, what is
this man?" Although I like that. I always liked the theory that the partner Gus was with
Max,
was actually like his partner, not just like some business partner. I've always liked that theory, so I'm kind of glad they pseudo confirmed it. And
they did it in just the right way, too, because if you start to dive too deep into what Gus is feeling, then that kind of will take away from the character. But no, that was a good way of letting the audience like come to a conclusion of why Max meant so much to him, why his hatred with the cartel runs so deep.
Yeah, and as other people have pointed out, the reason he's like flirting with this guy is because, like Mike told Jimmy, like, there's going to be a day where you just haven't thought about it. And that was that scene for Gus. But then I think when he was talking about that drink he got, the one we see him use, he probably what reminded him.
And it's what set him on course for exactly like who he is in Breaking Bad. Just somebody who his business and his plans are far more important than any like of these social personal desires that he might have. He's like a machine.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. No, but I really like that scene. Wanted to talk about that episode because some people were not satisfied with it, I guess.
Oh, yeah, and then just one more thing about that episode, just how I love how it, when it comes to the end after Kim's like, I was having too much fun, and then you just get that shot of Jimmy's silhouette just standing there, and like you realize the past 6 seasons and this right here, that was it. That's what did it. That's what made him who he is in the show. And then I love the cut that we get knowing that we're in the Breaking Bad timeline.
They made him look pretty close. Like the hair, I think, really does it.
Yeah.
Makes him look like how he did in Breaking Bad.
Oh, I love that scene so much. I remember thinking, like, oh my gosh, are we getting this already? And yeah, he goes to the office, or just him with the earpiece and just talking the way he does. And it's something where, you know, sometimes I can acknowledge it's not so easy to differentiate like Jimmy and Saul when you're not like thinking about the two different personalities. But the way that Bob Odenkirk reminded me that these are two different personalities of his.
Yeah.
Because when they did that cut, you just see how distinguishably different he is playing like a part that his character is playing.
Yeah.
Really. And just on like the flip of a switch too. How he can just go from a really comedic, funny character to somebody who actually has layers and trauma.
And that's why he's
stuff.
the funny guy. Because he's like hiding from himself, I guess. Hiding from everything that happened. And
then, everybody, like you said, with planned execution, it was great. It was basically like the Ozymandias of
it definitely was
series.
The Ozymandias. And I wanted an Ozymandias because to me, like, Ozymandias is the ending to Breaking Bad. That story. And then, like, the last episodes are kind of that vlog of that show.
Okay.
So, this wasn't the ending, but it was...
The climax.
This was the climax, yeah.
That was when it was brilliant. It was when, in the most unexpected way, but that fit the story for the one crime side of the show and the lawyer side of the show to finally crash.
Yeah.
And it was chaotic.
Yeah. Like, I thought Kim was going to die in that scene initially.
I didn't know what was going to happen. Oh, my God.
I was pretty scared that, like, Howard was going to do something. I didn't know what was going to happen.
Well, I remember thinking, like, what are they going to do with Howard? Like, after, like, they pull this scam on him. Like, what's left? Because we only got, like, 6 episodes left. Is it going to be about Howard trying to get back or whatever? And then, but never once did I think, leading up to that episode, Lalo Salamanca is going to shoot Howard Hamlin in the head.
Yeah.
That... just completely out of left field. Two characters that hadn't even like shared a scene together. Howard wasn't part of that like side of the story at all. Just the consequences of these characters' actions. They couldn't keep it separate.
And then Point and Shoot.
Point and Shoot was a tense episode. It was one of the most tense just out of the whole universe.
Yeah. And when Saul does make Kim go try to shoot Gus, I know you just made the Jesse comparison. It is like Jesse in season 3.
Oh, when he
had to shoot Gale.
They've got me at the laundry and they're going to kill me.
Although Saul wasn't even being... I mean, he was being threatened, but, like, he just volunteered Kim. He didn't necessarily have to.
I think that scene is made ambiguous on purpose. Because a lot of people debate, was he just trying to get her out of there? Or did he genuinely believe, if I go do it, I'm going to die?
Yeah.
But if Kim goes and do it, she's got a shot. And I don't know. Personally, I think he wanted her away from Lalo, but you hear the way he's describing this to Lalo, like, think about it. If I show up there, they're like, who's this asshole? If she goes, they're going to think maybe her car broke down, she needs help, you'd open the door for her, right? So I think he genuinely believed the pitch that he was making to Lalo.
You think because, he was making a pitch? Like, he truly just didn't want to go and was almost making up a reason to send her?
Well, obviously, I don't think he wanted to go. But I also thought he knew, if I do it, I'm going to die. If she does, she could make it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I say to some people say, he didn't actually want her to go. He wanted to get her out. Well, she ended up going. And she was ready to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was a great episode.
And, the controversial Nippy.
Yeah.
We have to touch on that.
A lot of people hate Nippy. I don't really get it. I mean, it's a slower episode, but so were the first few episodes of the season. So there's a lot of episodes of this show been very slow.
I appreciate it now because I see it is... That storyline has been continued throughout like the rest of the episodes. I love how, later on they have it mirroring like some of the decisions he made during the Breaking Bad timeline. But, no, I mean, I think it was just... a hard left turn from what people were expecting, because Fun and Games, one right before it, ends with him in the Breaking Bad timeline. And you think, we're here, this is what we're gonna get for the next few episodes, just in the timeline. And then we get a whole episode in black and white. The title is not the traditional blank and blank that episodes 1 through 9 were.
Yeah.
And I just think people weren't. That's not what they were expecting. They wanted Walt and Jesse is what they wanted.
I think if Walton just, because they've been doing the Gene, Breaking Bad, kind of both taking place at the same time. Like we're getting Breaking Bad flashbacks and Gene scenes.
Yeah.
Maybe if Nippy had Breaking Bad scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Almost like jingling some keys in front of...
But I kind of like that they set up just where this Gene world is right now.
Yeah.
And so that when we do get, during the Breaking Bad timeline, where we see the patterns that he makes in his life of when he first met Walter White and then when he starts pulling scans again as Gene, it made it feel earned. Like I said, this is a show that I appreciate how it earns these storylines other than just throwing them out there because that's what they want to happen.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan that they had to recast the cab driver.
I like continuity, but I'm gonna be. I really do. Forgive me. I don't know the actor's name, but I really do like that actor.
The only thing is, he does not carry himself the same way that the first actor did.
No,
and they feel like two different people.
Yeah.
In fact,
they just dress the same.
Yeah, I've seen people say they actually didn't even know it was supposed to be that same character until like after that episode.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, people like us or anyone who's watching a show. People talking about Better Call Saul, we know, but the average, people who aren't, who don't have this kind of just mental illness, or they're not going to pick up on stuff like that. I mean, they could probably put it together and just, that's who, he looks different, what? But, I mean, it was something that, it didn't bother me too much. It bothered me at first when I heard about it, but then once I started watching, I was like, oh, okay, I'm over it.
Yeah.
I really like this actor anyways.
Yeah, I think he's doing good, it's just I wish he was... who they originally got.
Consistency.
Yeah,
because that's something. This show has never been one to just recast characters ever.
Yeah. So yeah, that was drawing, but we did get the two fellas back.
Oh yeah,
Breaking
titled
Bad.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah, and I mean I like the episode. The Walton Jesse scene. I mean, it was just kind of a flashback. I know it shows him when he first is getting involved with the two.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to mirror, like, him with the cab driver and stuff. But I like the Jesse scene in the next episode a lot more than this one.
What else? And a little story time for me. Just
yeah.
Because recently I'd taken a trip to Albuquerque. And I had went to, like, a watch party to see this episode at. And it was just... That was the best episode to sit down and have, like, audience, like, reaction experience with, because I love just the opening. You knew this is happening now when you just see the POV of the bag over his head and he's just saying guys, talk to me, it wasn't me, it was Ignacio. Everybody lost their mind when they saw we were inside of the RV, and it was I have a soft spot in the episode in my heart for the episode for that reason. But I really did enjoy the episode. And I wondered how they were going to incorporate Walt and Jesse, because I thought, we basically have seen everything that we really need to see. There's nothing that I think they could throw in there where, you didn't know this was going on the whole time. So I think, honestly, for characters that we have a whole other show about, the best course of action probably was to go with just these are flashbacks.
But then when you're just doing flashbacks because you can't. You don't have a place to fit the two characters, then that's when you're getting into fan service territory, which I feel like the writers of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul have, tried to avoid being fan service.
Well, I didn't think... To me, it didn't strike me as just fan service for the sake of. It definitely was fan service to a degree, but I think without them, that was... The two of them caused just the most chaotic time in his life.
Yeah, I do like that scene, but I do like the next scene more.
Okay.
The Jesse and Kim scene in Waterworks. I like that one more. I felt like him talking with Kim alone was cool to see. It wasn't just a flashback necessarily.
I prefer that scene too, and I guess it's not necessarily a competition of which one is better, but as far as it's come to the inclusion of the two boys, I've been pretty satisfied with it so far, and just how a lot of people, like we said earlier, how Kim is kind of like the Jesse of the show, the person who is going through this partnership and being affected the most by the main character.
Yeah.
The heart of the series, more or less. But kind of just, you see Kim when she's starting to near like the end of just this crazy life and trauma, while Jesse is just about to start his.
Yeah, I do like that. That's
a cool just, I guess, passing of the baton for that role
of suffering
of the series.
Here's the baton. People, everyone in your life's gonna die, and you're gonna be on the brink. Here you go.
Well, and they did a good job in that scene too, of just showing how, because I mean, obviously later in the series, it's fun, not fun, but like it's really interesting, like analyze just how good Aaron Paul just portrays like being someone who's just broken up about all the things they've done and been through. Whereas they take us back to before season 1, it's like, he's a bumbling idiot.
Yeah.
That's who he is right now. And then, oh my gosh, it got me when he's talking about Saul, and he says, so this guy, is he any good?
Yeah.
And when Kim just says, when I knew him, he was.
Yeah.
And now you just got all that context of like the 6 seasons of buildup of like, this is just more or less like a sick man who just can't help himself, and it was just a tragedy to see him blow his potential. Because look at like all like the crazy shit he's been able to pull off. Could you imagine if he put his mind to something like,
useful?
Yeah, useful and legal. Like he could. Who knows what he could have been if he just didn't have this need to constantly gaslight or fuck people over.
We got Emilio back too.
Oh, that was awesome. I remember too, like just feeling so sad, like when he's like, "All right, well, have a nice life, Kim," and just how he was treating her during, the divorce paper with the silly divorce fit.
Yeah,
he's talked about, and I was like, "Oh, I hate him so much." And then when Francesca goes, "Emilio Coy," I went, "Oh!" Like it was a great, like a roller coaster within a few seconds.
Well, I knew, and in fact, I had a strong feeling Jesse was gonna pop up in that scene.
Oh,
so I was waiting for her to open the door and it'd be Jesse.
Oh,
so then seeing Emilio, I was like, oh.
It's gotta be him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then, they revealed him later.
Yeah. So, I mean...
And that was Vince's last episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But as far as, like, what I think this last episode, I mean, I think he's going to jail. I think that's kind of the obvious direction he's going. He's clearly going to try to contact the vacuum cleaner guy that we saw from the teaser. So...
You know what I was thinking?
What?
See, I don't know if they would do this, but the fact that Robert Forster had actually, tragically passed away in real life, and, so they can't have a scene with him, getting him away or something like that, unless they were to recast, but, I mean, what if they took the route of that character's actually passed on? Like, he tries to call him, and he can't get a hold of him because he's gone. It's all, like, everything from that past life of his, it's all gone.
That would actually be cool if they did that. I would like that.
Yeah, could you... I don't know. Just
like, there's just no way out for him.
Mm-hmm.
He has to face the music, essentially.
This was always his ejector button. But now he just can't use it. He's literally just all out of options.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I hope that happens.
And I think that would also be a good way of being respectful to like the actual passing of the actor.
Yeah.
Don't recast them.
Well, I just like that idea.
Job. And also, these are just things that happen.
Yeah, I just like that idea that he can't run from it anymore.
Yeah.
And not just because, he doesn't have enough money or, some like El Camino stuff. It's just, everyone's gone. Like, it's just, there's just nowhere to go anymore. That's a nice ending. We know Kim will be in this episode too, so...
Yeah. Oh, and I want to talk about, too, before we wrap this up, in Waterworks, how we did get... we saw a glimpse into, like, Kim's life. And
yes. Fuck her husband.
Oh, or whoever the hell that guy is.
Yeah.
I can't stand him.
Said
yup, during sex, and saying, like, you think it's okay that I got Miracle Whip a whole minute and a half conversation? It's like, dude, shut up. Get out of here.
I thought that scene was supposed to be like, they were both joking about taking it so serious. But no, they were just taking it that serious. And, like, Kim honestly had the worst fate out of everybody because she lives with just Karens, just to talk with them all day.
I saw someone was pretty funny who has it worse, and it showed Jean and just constantly paranoid, always on the run, or Kim moved to Florida.
But yeah.
Oh, and then like, I hope they win all the awards because especially like
at least best drama. I would like to see Reese Horn win.
Yeah, I mean,
too, at the very least.
The scene where she breaks down like on the bus is some of just the most authentic, just sorrow that I've just ever seen. Like
that and like Aaron Paul in Breaking Bad.
I don't know how this crew has gotten lucky with just all these amazing actors and cast and crew.
What's her name? Skylar.
Oh, Anna Gunn.
Yeah, I thought she also had some very raw like. I mean, all the actors really have.
Yeah. And the thing is,
yeah,
that was just a scene where there was no music.
Yeah,
and just it didn't cut a whole lot. It was just her sitting there and like just portraying that she couldn't like hold it in anymore. It was just just uncontrollable sobbing. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, that was a really sad scene. It was hard to watch.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, overall, like I'd say, like this sixth and final season of the show. I mean, fingers crossed that they're gonna stick the landing. But you know, I have faith that they will. Yeah, definitely.
It's definitely gonna be. I think it'll probably be another slower paced episode, kind of like Felina was.
Yeah.
Up until the ending, but yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a satisfying ending. It's been pretty satisfying thus far, so I don't think they're gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if this last one sticks the landing, then season 6, for me, is going to be like my favorite season of the show.
Yeah, I mean, at the least it'd be very close to 5.
Mm-hmm.
Because 5 was pretty.
5 was great. 5 was great.
So
I like that it was a little bit extended. We got 13 episodes this time around.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself when it ends.
But we'll have just 2. Just masterpiece shows.
Yeah, and you know, who can say that? A lot of people are comparing it to just The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2 of television.
And Breaking Bad's kind of become an annual tradition now to rewatch, so I'm thinking Better Call Saul might also be another show that I just keep going back to.
But yeah, just how lucky we are as fans.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Breaking Bad, it's not an extremely long show or anything like that, but it was perfect. Exactly what it needed to be, and for them to give us a whole other series that's just as amazing on its own, gives context that we never knew we wanted to the Breaking Bad universe, and just taking us on like a roller coaster of emotions while being able to maintain the same quality for almost 15 years now. Yeah, it just almost sounds just unheard of.
Yeah, and literally peak fiction. I think these 2 shows might just be like just the best piece of fiction that we have so far.
And we've said before, like, when it comes to like just favorite like pieces of like media, this world is my favorite. And you said yours as well. Yeah. And you know, and I love what Vince said about when they asked him if he had any plans to continue on the universe, he says, I selfishly do want to, yes. Yeah. But he knows it's for the best to wrap things up now because he says, and we want to see him do other things too. Yeah. He says there's a lot of stuff to explore in just storytelling in general, like Earth and space and just everything in between. But this is just New Mexico. Like, the story's in New Mexico, and sometimes it's, I don't know, it's just leave them wanting more. Leave them wanting... Yeah. It's better to leave your audience wanting more than having too much.
I just wonder what he would do.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff you could come up with. You could have a Gus Origins, or...
That feels like the obvious one, or a Mike Origin type of... But yeah, then it would be like, okay, now we're really
And then what's going to happen? Because then you would watch those shows and think, oh, well, is Bob Odenkirk going to make a cameo? Or are they going to bring back Bryan Cranston again?
Yeah. Yeah, we we need to leave it when it's good, when it's at its peak. That was their philosophy with Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm.
Ended at its peak, same thing here. Just when people want more, that's when you should stop.
But yeah, when I look back at like both these shows, obviously it's gonna hurt not having any more McGill Mondays to look forward to. But I think my general consensus would just be how lucky we really were.
We're getting a new Vince show.
Yeah,
and I'll be watching that one.
Yeah, day one.
Yeah. At this point, he could sell me on anything, like anything with his name on it.
But yeah,
I'll be checking out.
Pretty much like wrapping it up. Final predictions.
Final predictions, though. I think Saul's gonna go to jail. I mean, everyone's been saying that. That's the path we haven't seen any of the main characters take. You know, we have Walt that died, Jesse that got away. We need Saul to go to prison.
And he deserves it.
He does deserve it. He does. I was thinking about that because I was thinking about that the other day. I was thinking, Saul, he doesn't necessarily deserve to die for the things that he's done, but he definitely doesn't deserve to get away.
No.
So, he deserves to go to prison. That's where he belongs.
Yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, like we said, we feel like that's the clear, obvious way they're going to wrap up the story. But like I said,
the way they do it, though, I'm sure will be way different from anything that I would imagine.
Is there any way you don't want it to end? Like, is there something that would just piss you off?
If Saul died.
Yeah.
I don't think they should do that. They've kind of feels like they've been alluding to it with the grave that they dug in the desert, and then maybe the transition. Mm-hmm. They've kind of foreshadowed it, but I hope not, because I don't want it to be like a Walt, very similar to Walt's ending.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want him to die either. And I think he needs to pay for what he's done. I think he needs to go to jail. And that's the thing. This show, everybody in the criminal underworld who's done wrong, nobody has gotten away with it. Everybody's faced their consequences at the end. It always catches up to you.
I think, because Kim hasn't seen Gene yet.
No.
They haven't met face to face. So I think she will visit him in prison. And that will be the first time they look at each other since.
Oh, and also, I know we said we're wrapping it up, but the thing is, we haven't seen him fully feel any of the guilt for anything that he's done, or just any kind of remorse whatsoever. We got a small glimpse of it in Nippy when he's trying to distract the security guard, but after Chuck died, we never saw him actually mourn or grieve, and after him and Kim got divorced, we didn't see him miss her. He put on a show for her and acted like a clown. And I think with him going to jail, he's going to get what he deserves, and he's finally going to have to face what he's done, and he's going to let himself feel it. I think we're going to get a scene with him just breaking down.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But then again, we've predicted a lot with this season, and I don't think very much of it has been correct. I think the only thing we've really gotten right is Kim's going to leave Saul. I know we were saying that. And then I thought Nacho was going to live. I mean, I knew Lalo was going to die, but that was obvious.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I haven't really gotten a lot right as far as the direction, but...
And, we probably got everything wrong about tomorrow's finale, but
yeah,
I guess we'll just have to wait and see. You want to do this again? After the show ends, give our thoughts on the final episode?
I'm thinking we can give our thoughts on the final episode, and then maybe we can talk about just our overall favorite episodes.
Okay. Just a
kind of
retrospective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything when it comes to our predictions and just what we thought on the whole series. And, we'll be back to give a series retrospective of favorite episodes, what we thought of the finale, whether it was satisfying or not, and kind of just look back on this whole universe.
Yeah. Big retrospect, because we haven't really talked about Breaking Bad at all.
Yeah,
actually. So,
but
I'd like to get into that too.
In conclusion, bravo Vince.
The Gilliverse.